Get ready to lace up. We're taking you inside high school basketball. Your home team, your rivals. Inside the action, inside the excitement, inside all the games that count. Taking you inside high school basketball like no one else can. This is Inside High School Sports with Pat Doney.
Welcome to Inside High School Sports. I am your host, Pat Doney. We have made the turn in the district schedule for boys basketball, so we're starting to close in on the postseason. In 5A, it seems like Lancaster has been playing at a playoff-type level all season. The Tigers have scored over 100 points in 4 of their last 5 games going into their Friday night matchup. Lancaster against Red Oak is our Whataburger Game of the Week. A good crowd, good atmosphere for this one as these two old foes got together and the Tigers start out hot. Carde Turner driving, an addition to Amari Reed, who finishes with authority, the two-handed rim rocker to get Lancaster off to a hot start. Red Oak dealing with the Tiger press here as Devin Boone would get the rock on the block, go up between two giants, get the bucket and the foul. Good strong move there. The Tigers would build a healthy halftime lead, though, thanks to plays like this one. Just watch the ball movement here. Going all the way around. It eventually gets to Mario Perry, who's going to be open for the wing three and buries it. We go to the second half now. Red Oak creeping back in it. It's Boone again with the three, but this one from beyond the arc. Then Lancaster's Desmian Jones going to get hot, shaking his defender, creating space, knocking down the mid-range jumper, part of Jones's brilliant third quarter. And then our guy, Dylan Batty, putting the finishing touches on this one as the Temple commit gathers the missed shot and throws down the two-handed flush. The #1 team in the state in 5A gets the win, Red Oak over Red Oak by the final of 69-42. Parrish and JP2 playing for the second time this year. Parrish won the first game by 9. The Panthers turned a 5-point lead at halftime into 15 when Armand Almutter hits a 3 from the corner. Now in the fourth quarter, Parrish on the break. Kyle Hamburger has a tough finish at the rim. The Panthers led by 20 with under 6 minutes to go. But JP2 fights back. Bryson McLaughlin drives the lane, scores, and the lead was down to 7. It was a 4-point game when Parrish's Harris Dar scores off his own miss. And it looks like the Panthers had weathered the storm. Not so fast. Cameron Marks knocks down a long 3 to tie the game at 77 with 12 seconds left. That gave Parrish plenty of time to get a shot off, but they turn it over. And when they turn it over, it's a fast break layup by Alex Russell. JP2 had the lead with 1.5 seconds left. Parrish designed a good play at the end, but it does not work out. JP2 makes up a 20-point deficit in the fourth quarter to win 79-77. St. Mark's hosting Greenhill. The national anthem didn't play because of technical difficulties. The St. Mark's student section sang it themselves instead. Before the game, the Lions honored junior Luke Lekowski, who scored his 1,000th career point earlier this season, and he looked like he wanted to get another 1,000 in this game. He hit 3 three-pointers in the first quarter alone. St. Mark's led 23-19 after 1. But Greenhill likes to shoot threes as well, and they're good at it too. This is Juan Barrientos with one of the Hornets' 18 three-pointers in the game. Jackson Thompson was Greenhill's leading scorer. He had 25 points, and he did it from both behind the arc and at the rim, like that coast-to-coast bucket there. They need overtime in this one, but St. Mark's would prevail. 87-83, the final score. The undefeated Plano East Panthers were put to the test Friday night against 11th-ranked Louisville. We pick it up in the third. The Farmers down 5, but Rakai Crawford goes straight to the rack for 2, and Louisville's only down 43-40 after 3. In the fourth quarter, got to go back to the hot hand. Crawford for 3. It's good. 28 points for Crawford. We have a tied game. That's when Xavier Miller brought the house down with this drive, and he rises up and posterizes the defender. Oh, my. Everyone on Plano East saw how driving the lane worked out so well. So, Jordan Mizell with the same move. He goes with the left-handed layup. The Panthers up 6. Then it's Miller again. Going to force it up off the glass. And he's fouled. Miller with 16 points on the night. We go to 3 seconds left. Louisville down by 3. Crawford's covered. So big A.J. McPeters taking the last shot. And it hits the front of the rim. Plano East remains undefeated with a 62-59 victory. In 9-6A, second place Wiley East hosting first place Wiley. The Pirates get things started on the break. The ball finds Jackson Rogers, who's going to nail the lefty three-pointer. Wiley's up 7-3 after a quarter. Wiley East's A.J. Overstreet going to work around the pick for this jumper here, 2 of his 10 points. And it had the little fans excited. But Noah Mallory would drive to the hole for Wiley and switch to the left for the bucket here. Mallory led all scorers with 21. Wiley stays in first with a 45-30 win. Argyle's girls team is ranked 5th in the state in Class 5A, playing at Colleyville Heritage Tuesday night. Colleyville Heritage sophomore Journey Hampton had quite a game, knocking down the little floater for an early lead. We fast forward to the second now, and Hampton driving to the bucket, scores, plus the foul. She scored 15 of her team's 21 points in the first half. Reese Crabtree providing a boost for Argyle, knocking down the 3 at the first half buzzer to cut the lead to 6. Hampton was having a night to remember. She scored all 10 of her team's points in the third quarter, and her team led 31-29 after 3. Late in the fourth, Brookline Northeim finds it Samantha Bacon to put the Lady Eagles up 2, but Hampton scored 7 points in the final 2 minutes. She had 34 in the game. Colleyville Heritage wins 45-39. Plano Prestonwood welcomed in Bishop Lynch Friday night in a matchup of top 10 teams in TAP 6A. Bishop Lynch had things working early. Micah Ford driving in the paint, takes the bump and drops in the bucket for 3 the old-fashioned way. Ford had 14 points in the game. Then Bishop Lynch steps up the defense. Frey Vowles steals the ball and then has the whole court to herself, taking it in for the layup, and 2 of her 12 points in the game. But back come the Lady Lions. First, it's Kennedy Price from the deep wing, knocking down the 3 ball, and then they go inside to Kirsten Rink. She has good post position down low and gets the bucket there, but the Bishop Lynch defense was pesky down the stretch. They get the steal, and London Perry gets the bucket, and she's going to get fouled for a 3-point play. Great work here. Bishop Lynch goes on to the victory 59-51 over Plano Prestonwood. Hey, let's take a quick break from the action to talk about one of the most dominant players in all of 5A. This week's Parker University MVP is Nick Cody from Newman Smith.
Nick Cody from Newman Smith is the prototypical power forward. The 6'8" big man uses his quickness to maneuver around the basket for easy points, as Cody averaged 16 points and 9 rebounds a game a year ago. Nick is the state's highest-ranked player for his class and was also his district's MVP last season. He was having a solid season until a knee injury sidelined him for a while. Cody is heading to the University of Texas for his college basketball.
They asked me if I wanted to stand on a box next to Nick. I mean, no, he's 6'9", and he is all of 6'9". Congratulations on the bobblehead. What do you think, man? I think it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like it looked like me a little bit. Skin complexion a little off, but I like it.
We do our best, man. It's well-deserved. It's been so fun to watch you play in your career, but we mentioned the knee injury at this point. I want to start there. I mean, I cannot imagine how tough that has been. What's it been like having to watch your guys from the bench with the knee injury?
It's kind of tough, you know. It's my senior season. I ain't wanted to, go like this. I want to be playing with my team, obviously try to help them win a state championship. But, just seeing them, they've been winning. They've been doing good, just trying to motivate them during practice, during games, everything. So it's good to see them win. So I'm not too mad. I'm still mad about my season, but I'm not too mad because they still enjoying themselves and they're having a good time.
Such a phenomenal player before the injury as well. It's one of the reasons you're an elite recruit. More on that in a second. But I want to ask about that journey and that process for you, because when you're a top recruit, I don't know if people quite understand. That's tough to handle all the pressure involved with that, right?
Yes, sir. It's just a lot of people got their eyes on you. Every game is someone's first time watching you. You got a lot of pressure. Every team game plans for you. It's like you can't be missed out. So it's a lot of pressure, a lot of build-up. You just keep working hard.
And you worked hard, and you improved, and you are a very good player. It's one of the reasons you're headed to the University of Texas, as we mentioned in the story. And you picked UT over a long list of schools. I'm curious what it was about the Longhorns that you said, okay, that's where I want to go and play college basketball. What made them the right choice for you?
First, Texas has a good history of just winning. The culture of Texas, the fan bases are crazy. And for sure, the coaching staff, I look at them as family, like uncles, father figures, so they really had a good communication with me, and we just built a bond and just went from there.
A great bond, and they're getting a great player. Nick, you're an awesome player. Cannot wait to watch you there at the University of Texas. Congratulations on your success in high school, and thanks for being with us here in the studio, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, when we come back, we are just getting started. We will have more hoops action, and we'll talk about a team you might be surprised to see at the very top of the 4A state rankings. Stay with us. Argyle ranked 10th in the state, taking on the third-place team in district, Colleyville Heritage. Jason Demker got the Eagles off to a good start, driving the layup here in for an 11-6 lead in the first quarter. Final seconds of the first half, Damari Evans slips a pass to Bodie Weaver, who scores to make it a one-point game at halftime. Third quarter, Colleyville Heritage big man Tim Fanau scored inside to give the Panthers their first lead since the first basket of the game. They needed overtime, and Colleyville Heritage struck first. A three-pointer from Cash Garner to take a 41-38 lead. Demecker responds, though, on Argyle's next possession, driving baseline and finishing with a big dunk, making it a one-point game. Argyle gets one last chance, but Jonathan Langini's floater, no good here, and Colleyville Heritage wins it 42-41 in overtime. The top-ranked 4A team in the state, Eastern Hills, visiting Benbrook Tuesday night and getting an alley-oop. Well, getting this from 5'11" Messiah Miller is a good way to get the Eastern Hills crowd hyped early. Benbrook would take the lead in the first. Jaden Hall with the steal, and he's taking it all the way to the rack for two here. The Bobcats would lead 13-10 midway through the first. The Highlanders defense would take charge, though. Miller, the steal to Alex Barther for the dunk to give Eastern Hills this week's Defensive Title Belt Award. And then in the second half, Miller tossing one up for Barther, who would lay it in here as Eastern Hills earns their #1 spot with a 74-44 victory. And as you can see, Eastern Hills is just cruising along in district play. The Highlanders sit atop the state 4A rankings, and it's not a place they're used to being in recent history. Our inside story tells us how Eastern Hills has slowly but surely risen to the top of the basketball landscape.
The Highlanders' furthest run in the postseason in the modern era came in 2017 when they got to the regional tournament. Not enough to call Eastern Hills a basketball factory, and certainly not enough to get them respect on the streets of Fort Worth.
It was a stereotype that they don't got nothing going on, it's washed, but it wasn't a good reputation. Everybody's like, it's a bad move. There's never been no hype towards Eastern Hills.
We came here, we tried to turn the program around. We did a good job about that.
The Highlanders have built themselves quite the powerhouse in Fort Worth. Eastern Hills was 22-4 going into the weekend and imposing their will on just anyone they face. Coach Melvin Miller's team goes 10 deep, which allows him to keep his players fresh while at the same time watching fatigue set in with his opponents.
One of our keys to success is controlling the tempo. All right, so when we have opportunity to run, we want to run, but we can also slow it down and play a half-court offense to get 5 or 6 passes if need be to kind of slow down and just wear the other team down.
District play hasn't been too competitive for the Highlanders as they're 7-0 with an average winning margin of 36 points per game. However, Coach Miller expected that, so he scheduled a challenging non-district, a schedule that included several 5 and 6A teams, and the Highlanders got some impressive wins over DeSoto and third-ranked North Crowley.
That's why I wanted to be, like, competition-wise. We getting me in the fight every single time. Playing against 6A teams, 5A teams, it was like we get to show them who we are really. Just because we were 4A don't count us out.
We learned that we were resilient. We learned that we could play with the bigger classes regardless of lack of population. We have the talent and the skill to compete on any level.
The road will be a lot more difficult once the second season begins. Possible matchups with state-ranked Carter or Faith Family. Winners of 4 of the last 5 state titles could be on the horizon. But Eastern Hills is determined to make history. Despite being ranked #1 in 4A, the Highlanders still seem to be sliding under the radar, and they would not have it any other way.
So to go unmentioned, per se, is not something that we take too personal. We use it as motivation to want to get better so that when we do cross the path, we're prepared for that challenge.
As soon as we came here in 9th grade year, everybody sacrificed going to the big schools and coming to Eastern Hills to come towards this one goal and win state. we made the right decision. We left all the big programs. We came in Eastern Hills. Nobody talks about Eastern Hills, and we win a ring. That's the main goal.
What a great story there. Okay, when we return, we go next level with a couple of Waxahachie stars that have the Indians flying high in 11-6A. Fort Worth Arlington Heights undefeated in district play, taking on second place Southwest. A defensive struggle in this one, but for Southwest, Davion Ward trying the long ball, misses, but Charles Franklin is there to tip in the miss for the Raiders. The Yellow Jackets connect on their long ball. Tremaine Kilgore finds Jacob McCray in the corner. That's a splashdown. The Arlington Heights Yellow Jackets get a good win, 46-22 the final. Waxahachie started off somewhat slowly this season, but going into Friday night, the Indians had fired off 9 wins in a row and were undefeated in the ultra-competitive 11-6A. Sean McFarland from the Dallas Morning News tells us why a couple of big-time recruits have Waxahachie on a roll in our Golden Chick Next Level.
Talent matters in basketball. Just look at the last few basketball state champions to come out of DFW, like Lake Highlands, Faith Family, and Duncanville, and you'll find that some high-level prospects made a big difference. That's good news for this year's Waxahachie team. Meet King Grace and Parker Jefferson, one of the most talented duos in the state of Texas. Grace is a 4-star recruit with offers from LSU, Houston, Texas A&M, and others. Jefferson is a 4-star recruit with offers from Iowa, TCU, and Texas Tech. Grace is a high-flying, 6'5" guard who's been one of the best three-point shooters in DFW. He leads Waxahachie with 21.9 points per game on nearly 50% shooting. And get this, he's averaged better than 28 points per game in 8 district games and has established himself as one of the best guards in the Metroplex. Jefferson has produced since his freshman year when he was named the Dallas Morning News' Newcomer of the Year. He's a big-bodied, 6'9", 230-pound forward who's averaging nearly a double-double with 16.1 points and 9.8 rebounds per game. He's recorded 14 double-doubles this season in 8 games with 20 or more points. He's difficult to box out, he's difficult to guard one-on-one, he can step out and let it fly from 3, too. It's a tough duo to stop, and Waxahachie is showing why that could lead them to a pretty good place. Dallas-Fort Worth has been a hotbed for basketball talent in the last decade or so. Some of the best prospects and future NBA stars have come through the Metroplex. Grace and Jefferson might be next.
It's quite the duo. Thank you, Sean. When we come back, it's time for our Plays of the Week. Stay with us. That's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you for watching Inside High School Sports. I'm Pat Doney. We leave you with our Kroger Plays of the Week.
Strong, but they rattle like an avalanche. We advance, lights go out like a shadow. Soon as it starts, and it's over. Round of applause for the close of the opposers. Know exactly